All right, guys, it's Katie, and welcome to today's class. We're going to focus on hips today. So that'll be good for us. Hips also kind of connect us to our creativity center and our past emotions. So I think when we work out the hips physically, of course, we get the physical benefits, but maybe we'll get a little bit of the emotional benefits as well. So I'm going to get right to it because it is time. We're going to just close the eyes wherever you're sitting. And with the eyes closed, I just want to remind you to listen to your own body today. Don't do anything that hurts, that doesn't feel right. Right? Make any changes or adjustments that you need to. And now with eyes closed, I want you to check in on your physical body. I know we do it every week, but head to toe. Notice if there's a pain or a tightness or a tension. And remembering to not judge it. It is what it is, it's there, we're just noticing it. And then let's switch our focus away from our physical body to our mental body, our thoughts and our thinking mind. And just ask yourself what kind of thoughts have been running through your mind lately? Without judgment, of course. And if we don't check in on ourselves, how are we going to help ourselves? So now that we've done those two bodies, let's go to your emotional body and your heart. So imagine your awareness drifts down to your heart and just ask yourself, how do I feel right now? And then whatever came up, and just let that go and bring awareness to your breath as you're sitting here in your room. Notice your breath. As you start to deepen your breath a little bit, I'm just going to tell you we're going to be doing a breath exercise that is good for anxiety, good for tension, good for insomnia. It also helps lengthen the exhale. So while your eyes are closed, I'll just explain it to you. It's called the 3-part exhalation, where we just split up the exhale to 3 parts. It's self-explanatory, right? I'll walk us through it a few times, but we're going to try and separate the breath from throat to heart center, from heart to navel, and then navel to pubic bone. So with eyes still closed, breathing nice and deep, let's try it. On your inhale, regular inhale in, and on the exhale, start to let out some air from throat to heart, and then pause for a second at the heart, and then keep going down to the belly button, then pause at the belly button, and then go all the way down to the bottom of the spine. And then just inhale will naturally come. All right, so we're going to try that a few more times at your own pace. Inhaling when you're ready. Exhale, throat to heart, pause. Navel to pubic bone, pause. And then I skipped the part, didn't I? Let's try that one more time. Exhaling, throat to heart. Heart to belly button. And then belly button to pubic bone. Inhaling again. And then it's throat to heart, exhale, pausing for just a second, and then heart to belly button, pausing for just a second, and then let all the rest out. Let's try that a couple times at your own pace, and I'll be quiet. See if you can do that one more time wherever you are. And when you reach the bottom of that exhale, just let the breath come back to natural. Natural inhales, natural exhales. reminding yourself to try and stay in the present moment for the rest of our practice. We're focusing on our breath and our body. So from here, it's up to you if you want to keep your eyes closed or not. I'm going to go to my mat. Just sitting in a comfortable seat, which you already are, right? Just going to inhale the arms up overhead. And then on the exhale, just to fall forward, touching the ground with your hands. It's okay to round your spine, dropping your head. We're focusing a little bit on the hips today. So already this pose will get into the hips. So notice what you're feeling in your back, in your hips. And then walk your hands over to one side of your mat, doesn't matter which side, stretching through the side body a little bit. Finding that breath. And then walking hands all the way through center over to the other side. Walking hands back through center again. And just walking hands into your body so you're sitting up nice and tall. Perfect. All right, so just check on your spine before we move on. Feel like the tailbone drops down. The heart is lifting, shoulders are soft. Feel like there's an imaginary string at the crown of your head lifting you up to the ceiling. So you have a nice long spine, but still curves, right? You have curves in your spine. You want to keep those natural curves, but also feel really tall. So we've got that. I'm gonna do a little seated cat-cow here, guys. So on your inhale breath, you're gonna take your heart and poke it up to the ceiling, right? So arching your upper back a little bit. On the exhale breath, you're gonna tuck your chin, round your shoulder blades to the back wall and tuck your tailbone under. So inhale, tip your pelvis forward, stretching front spine, shoulders down. Perfect. Exhale, tuck it all in. So keep moving between those two. On the inhale, you're stretching the front, opening heart. And on the exhale, stretch the back, opening the heart from the back side, right? I think we forget about the back of our heart. So keep on going at your own breath, right? We never have to match each other. You just have to match your own breath. Finishing there, taking that last one wherever you are, and then we'll come to our flat back. And then we've been sitting like this for a while. So if it's okay on your hips, you're gonna switch which leg is in front and which leg is in back, right? Evening out those hips. Perfect, nice. All right, and then from here on your inhale breath, sweep your arms all the way over your head. Hands can be shoulder distance. And then exhale, fingertips to the mat. Perfect, 2 more like that. Inhaling up, stretching through the side body. Exhale, relaxing the arms. 1 more. Exhaling, fingertips drop. And we're gonna add a twist to this. Everyone inhale, arms scoop up to the sky, and then exhale, twist to one side, dropping one hand behind you, one hand on the opposite knee. Got it. So once you get in position, your hands lift up that spine and that heart, and then exhale, twist your belly button toward the back of the room, wherever you are. And it's the beginning of class, so you don't have to go crazy here. Just start to warm up the middle body. Warm up your spine. All right, we're gonna keep the front knee, the hand on the knee. I just want you to take your back arm up to the ceiling, big inhale, and then cross it over that arm to hold your other knee. Got it, perfect. And now drop your chin and round through your spine again like we did earlier. And really feel that stretch through the shoulder blades. Okay, lift the heart. You're gonna release both hands. Flat back again. Perfect. Nice. Let's do the other side. Inhale, arms scoop up. Exhale, twisting to the opposite side. One hand on knee, one hand right behind your spine. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, twist your belly to the other direction. Try and relax your shoulders. Try to relax your face. Right, soften all the tension out of your face. Relax your jaw. Relax your ears. And then we'll do that little spinal stretch again. Let's take that back arm, inhaling up to the sky as you untwist your belly, and exhale, cross it over to the opposite knee. And then as you're ready on your exhale, again, curving and rounding and dropping. Keeping breathing here just for a breath. Next inhale just releases your hands, takes you to a sitting tall position. Perfect. All right, everyone, we're gonna transition to our hands and our knees now on your mat. If you happen to have sensitive knees, grab a blanket like I have, or some kind of, those gardening knee pads work really well. If not, you're good to go, especially if you're practicing on a carpet, you probably are fine. So coming to a hands and knees position in our table pose. Take your time. And then again, we're working on hips here. So I want you to actually take your knees a little wider than hip distance where the big toes might touch, and you're gonna sink your hips back toward your feet, right? And then you're gonna drop your forehead toward the floor. If it doesn't touch the floor, everyone, if you have a block or a book or a blanket, you can always put the block underneath your forehead, right? So finding what works for you. Breathing here. Sometimes knees wide is a little bit too much on the cervical spine. You can always draw your knees a little bit closer together. All right, so find your breath here in your child's pose. Kind of tune into your whole back body because it's facing the ceiling. And on the inhale, you can just feel your spine separate a little bit. And on your exhale, those little discs and vertebrae come back together. So practice that 2 more times. And once you finish that last, or that second exhale, inhale yourself back up to hands and knees. And then we just add some table circles here. So we're in our table pose, we're just gonna circle our hips to one side, to the front, to the other side, to the back. And then your hips are gonna tell you how wide these circles need to be to feel something, right? So you decide, it can go way out, right? Or it can just be little. And then let's circle the other direction, the other way. All right, and coming all the way back to hands and knees without any movement. We're gonna tuck our toes underneath. Check too that your hands are shoulder distance apart and your fingers are spread really wide, right? We're gonna bend those knees, lift the knees up, and drop your head into downward facing dog. So you can have a bend in the knee the whole time if you have really tight hamstrings and calves. If this is too much for you, just drop your knees. We want to press through the base of the fingers, right? So we don't jam and get carpal tunnel, all these little safety cues, right? Feel like the belly's engaging a little bit, right? So it's not just a loosey-goosey pose. There's a lot of energy and a lot of engagement in our downward facing dog. So head heavy though, that is relaxing. The head's like a bowling ball. So just holding this down dog. If you need to move in your down dog, move. Stay here for just a couple breaths. All right, everyone, taking a peek forward so you can see your hands. We're gonna walk the feet all the way to the front of your mat. So you're in a lazy forward fold position, upper body really heavy here. And just feeling the stretch in the backs of the legs. If you don't feel anything, you can try and lift the tailbone a little higher. If you feel too much, bend your knees and soften them. So just a little visualization here in your forward fold. Imagine all of the stress on your body kind of gathering at your tailbone, right? And then I want you to roll it down your spine till it gets the top of your head and just falls out onto the floor and just dissolves. Notice your breath. And then since you've been upside down for quite a while, you got to go up really slow. So soft bend in the knee, belly engaged, start to roll yourself up ultra slow so you don't get dizzy. All right, everybody good? Good. All right, so we are in our mountain pose. If you haven't practiced in a while, you need a quick mountain pose refresher. You know, feet are parallel to each other. So they can be together or apart, it's just the midlines are parallel, legs are engaged, shoulders back and down, right? Tuck in those lower ribs into the body so you know that your abs are engaged and lifting through the crown of your head. So here's your mountain pose. We're not just standing here, there's activity in our legs, like almost like if you could split your mat apart with your legs, right down the middle of your feet. So the legs are pressing in and down. Right, so we've got activity in our body. Let's just do a couple sun breaths here. So on your inhale, you'll sweep your arms up to the sky. On your exhale, you're gonna dive forward into your forward fold. On the inhale breath, I want you to come up halfway to flatten your back out. And then exhale, you'll fold back down into the legs. Inhale, you're gonna come all the way back up to the sky, arms overhead. Exhale, palms at heart. We'll do that again. On your inhale, sweep those arms back up. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale to your half lift position. And then exhale, fold into the legs. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, palms at heart center. I'm gonna add on here, ladies. Inhale, arms scoop up to the sky. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale to your half lift. On this exhale though, bend the knees, fingertips to the mat. You're gonna step your right foot way, way, way back. We'll go ahead and drop the right knee to the floor, right? If you have sensitive knee, make sure you grab your blanket. And then you can always stay down here, but if it feels okay, take both hands to the top thigh and see if you're all right here. All right, since we're all right here, we can sweep the arms up to the ceiling. If you're not all right, take your hands back down. All right, cool. So we're here in our low lunge. Just make sure that left knee is over that left ankle and you're safe. And then when you're ready, I want you to cactus your arms. So bend your elbows out to the side at shoulder height, just to spread through the chest and activate those muscles in the upper back. Breathing here. Beautiful, looking good. Inhale, we're gonna sweep the arms straight out to a T, and exhale, I want you to twist to the left towards your front knee, if we're all on the same side. Yep, so breathing here, open arm twist. So we're getting into the hips a little bit, right? We're lunging, even though we're twisting. Big inhale, untwist you and takes your arms up to the sky. And then exhale, fingertips to the floor. You got it. We're gonna straighten this front leg into like a half split position. So you're gonna straighten front leg as the back knee bends, and you can stretch into this hamstring and calf and that left leg. If you feel crunched and you have yoga blocks, you always put blocks on either side of you under your shoulders to make you feel like you have a little bit more space. So just holding here, breathing into this front leg. Do a few more things on this side. We're gonna rebend this front knee. So you're back to your low lunge. Right hand down underneath your face. We're gonna sweep the left arm up to another twist. Yep, just a different kind. That's it, perfect. So for those of you who want extra work, you can tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, but you don't have to. It's just an option. Breathe. So wherever you are, if you lifted the back knee, we're gonna drop it back down, untwist the body. One more pose here, everybody. I want you to actually sweep your front foot back behind you in line with that back foot. So that that right knee's under the right hip, left foot's way behind you, straight leg, and just sweeping that top arm up. So modified side plank. Yep, nothing crazy. If you feel like full side plank, you can go there. Breathe. All right, left hand to the mat, left knee to the mat. We're gonna find a child or a down dog. So child's for a rest. If you don't feel like resting, you can just tuck the toes and find your downward facing dog. There's your option for just a couple breaths. All right, if you were in your child's pose, you're gonna come up and join us in downward facing dog. And then we'll drop both knees back again and step the right foot to the front of the mat. So we're already set up for our low lunge. Take both hands to the top thigh. Nice, everybody's following along perfectly. All right, so here we go. We're gonna find that nice high lunge with the arms up to the sky. So breathing, sweeping those arms up and then cactusing the arms out to the side. If you want to add a mini back bend, you could, right? As long as the heart is up and you don't feel any jamming in your low back. All right, and then when you're ready, straighten those arms straight to a T and twist toward your right. So holding here, breathing. All right, inhale, untwisting arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to the floor, fingertips down so that you can now straighten your front leg, shift your hips back behind you. You can even flex those toes if you need extra stretch. So holding here into your half splits. And just breathe into it. I think hamstrings are really important to stretch when we work on hips as well. So this is a good complement pose. And check to see if your mind is running circles and you're not practicing or focusing on your yoga. If you can, come back to your physical body. We're gonna rebend that front knee now, right? The left hand under the face. Remember, if you have a block, you can always take the hand on a block. Here we go, lengthen the spine, twist to the right, right arm up to the ceiling. All right, drop that right hand on the inside of that foot, guys, in the front body. Oh, we forgot to lift our back knee, didn't we? Let's go ahead and just for a calf stretch, tuck the back toes and just push through that heel just for a moment. Because we forgot, I forgot. You might have done it without me. All right, we're gonna drop that back knee again. Here we go. Right foot, right leg sweeps all the way back behind you in line with the left foot. Left hand under shoulder, right arm up to the sky for a side plank, modified version. And then the right hand comes back to the mat, right knee. Everybody's gonna tuck those toes, lift up to downward facing dog. Nice. All right, taking a peek forward, we're gonna step or hop both feet to the front of the mat. All right, inhale, come to a half lift position, extend through the spine. Exhale, fold into the legs, and then inhale, we're gonna come all the way up, arms overhead, reversing your swan dive. Exhaling, hands at heart center. Perfect. Definitely warmed up for some standing poses, I hope, right? Move my blanket. So we're gonna, let's see, you're at the front of your mat. Let's step that left foot way, way back. Big wide stance. We're going for a warrior two, a hip open stance. So the right toes are facing the front of your mat. Your left toes are turned in slightly. Okay, check. Arms float parallel to the ground. First, you want to draw your shoulder blades together, right? Pull in your belly and then bend your right knee. So knee stays in line or behind the ankle. If the knee passes the ankle, that's too much stress in those joints. So just keep that safety cue, right? Perfect. And just holding here, looking out over those right fingers. Find your breath. We're gonna drop the back arm to the body and flip the right palm up and come to like a reverse warrior. So this arm comes straight up. And if you want a little extra, you can lean back, but you don't have to add the back bend here, up to you. That's it. All right, everyone, we're gonna come up into a triangle. So take those hands back to parallel, straighten the front leg now without locking the knee. Reach the right hand to the front of the mat as far as you can go, like you're trying to touch something, and then just tilt your chest so that your shoulders and your hips stay stacked. That bottom hand can hold onto your leg, could hold onto a block, or it just hovers so there's more ab work. But definitely use your abs so your back does not hurt. And this is also hips, right? Open hips. Breathe. Good job, everybody. Remember, you can take a break anytime you need to take a break. Then big inhale, we're gonna come back up. We're gonna relax those hands, take a moment. If you have your yoga block, we're gonna be moving into half moon where we hop the back foot in and you can have your block in your right hand. If you don't have one, it's not a big deal, you don't need it. Okay, I'm just used to it because I'm short and I need a little extra length. So what we'll do is keeping the hips open, hop your back foot in a lot so your hips don't close off and you take your block out a couple feet in front of your right foot. You move back. So you always look down at the ground, right, for balance, and then you might lift your back leg. So it could be just an inch or it could be all the way to hip height. Right? If you've got that part and you feel steady, you can take your top arm to the ceiling. Again, you don't have to. Wobbling's normal. It's taken a lot for me not to fall right here. So normal, just breathe. Nothing should hurt. Just be a good challenge. Nice. For those of you doing this a while and you want an extra challenge, bend your top knee and reach for your ankle. That's just for a couple of us, right? Not everybody has to do that part. Breathe. We're gonna extend if you bent the knee. Bend the front knee, plant your back foot to your warrior two. Whoa, right? That was a little crazy, but fun. So hands are gonna come down to either side of the front foot. Step your right foot to downward facing dog or child's pose to rest. Breathe deep. All right, friends, we're gonna look forward. You're gonna step the left foot to the front of the mat, plant your right heel down and in, and inhale yourself up to stand. I'm gonna switch sides here so I can see you. All right, so now the left toes in front, right toes turn in. Catch your breath, arms parallel, bend that left knee. Warrior two pose. Check to see if you have tension creeping in. So you want to imagine your breath softening that tense spot, right? Relax your face again. We're going to drop the back arm, lift the front arm straight up to the ceiling, and possibly lean back into a little reverse warrior pose. Checking that front knee, it wants to unbend when you leaned back, but you want to keep it bent. Perfect, you guys look really good. Breathe here. Good. And then we're going to take the arms back to warrior two and straighten that front leg for triangle. So reaching the front fingers forward, big hip crease in the left, and just tilting the chest. Right? Use that bottom arm for support if you need it. Stacking your shoulders and hips, pulling your belly in to support your back. Guys, look nice. If your neck hurts, you don't need to look up. You can just look to the side or to the floor. Relax your toes. And then press through your feet. Inhale yourself back up from triangle. Relax your arms. Okay, so get in the right mindset for your half moon, which is no expectations, just having fun and focusing on our breath, right? So here we go. Our hips are open. We're going to hop that back foot in a few feet. Back a little bit. And as you're ready, left fingertips to the floor or your block if you have one. Take your time, everyone. Super slowly, you would lift the back leg. Super slowly. Right? Take your time. If you want to lift your back, top arm up, you can, but it's not necessary. If you have a wall near you, nice. Lean into the wall, right? If you want to try that Chapasana, that where we bend that knee and reach for the ankle, go for it. Your body will tell you. And it's just, we're having fun, no judgment. All right, releasing the foot. If you had it, everybody bend the knee, come back to warrior two stance. Inhale up, that was awesome. Exhale, hands to the floor and take that front foot back to your downward dog. All right, so again, if you're looking for more active class, stay in your down dog. If not, I want you to drop those knees and come into child's pose, hips to the heels, forehead rests. And just relax here for a few more breaths. Looking good, looking good. All right, when you're ready, come back up to table, hands and knees pose, tuck your toes, find your downward facing dog. All right, look forward, everyone, walking or hopping the feet to the front. And this time we're gonna roll up. So soften those knees, start to roll up from the tailbone all the way to the head. Checking on you. Yep, everybody looks perfect. So finding your mountain pose. And then from here, I thought we could do a little different balance, a hip balance. We're gonna work into figure 4 through chair pose. So, go this way so you can see. We're gonna start by just softening those knees into like a little chair. So bending those knees, getting the hips behind you, shoulders back and down, belly in. So this is fun enough, right? So this is the tricky part, guys. I would have these arms out kind of like airplane wings. We're gonna lift this right ankle to the left thigh. Oh, I have a wall to help me. So right ankle, left thigh. right? And so you're just sitting down, getting that right knee to come to the floor. If you think you can balance without arms out to sides, take hands at heart center and just hold here and breathe. Not easy, I know. Nice though, everybody looks really good. Breathing, pulling in the belly. All right, try with a smooth move to take the right foot back to meet the left. Inhale, arms scoop up. You're still in chair pose and your left quad may be burning. And then fold into a forward fold and relax. Beautiful, holding here, breathing. All right, pressing through the feet, roll yourself back up. All right, now you know what's coming, you got this. You're calm, finding your chair first, right? Strong belly, support your back. Here we go, we're taking that left ankle to the right top thigh, opening that left hip. So you could do the same pose in a chair, right? Which would take a lot of the strength part out, but you can still get the stretch. So it's like you're in a pigeon pose, balancing. So hands out to sides or at heart, up to you. Breathe deep, not easy. Stay in the moment. It's okay if you need to come out sooner. If you're still there, we're going to take that left foot to the ground next to the right foot. Holding chair with arms up for another breath. Yes. And then fold forward into your forward fold. Uttanasana. Beautiful. Hanging out here, breathe. Lift that tailbone up. Relax your toes. All right, and then from here, since we're already here, down to the floor, we're gonna plant the hands on the mat and walk the feet to downward facing dog. And we're gonna go into a pigeon pose from down dog, everyone. So could you take your right leg up in the air behind you? Good, and then when I want to just sweep the knee forward underneath you and then plant it toward the right wrist. So it's an open hip, right? So that right knee's by the right wrist and that left knee inches back behind you a little bit. I don't know if you can see what's going on. So everybody's hips are different. The closer in your foot to your groin, a little easier on the hip. If you need extra hips, this shin comes forward closer to the front edge of your mat. Right? I could do that, but my body doesn't want to today. So I'm gonna take my foot in a little closer. So up to you. Another option to do is throw block under your right glute for stability. So up to you if you have a pillow. See how this is feeling. If you hate it here, I want you to come out and just sit for a minute. But if you're okay, breathe nice and high, heart lifted. If you can handle more, we're gonna walk our hands forward and possibly come to the elbows. Nice, so you could make little fists and rest your forehead on your fists. Or some of you are that flexible where you can actually extend the arms straight out and take the forehead to the floor. There's no right or wrong right here, everyone. You have to choose what fits you in the moment. So while you're here in pigeon, like intense sensation is good, but pain is not. And you have to know the difference between the two. And I know all of you, and I know you're intelligent women, so really listen to your joints and your muscles and your tissue, and they'll tell you how deep to go. Breathing deep into that right hip. All right, friends. If you're all laid out on the floor, we're gonna inch yourself back up to your elbows. And then if you're on your elbows, you're gonna come back to your palms. Perfect, okay. Instead of going back to down dog here, guys, we're just gonna drop the right hip to the floor and just sit up, extend that that left leg is still extended. So you've got your right knee bent in and your left leg straight out. And I know I'm opposite of you right now, but that's okay. Yep, all right. So left hand just rests on that left leg. We're gonna inhale that right arm up. And we're just gonna side bend over that straight leg. So there's a couple ways to do this, right? You can just keep the shoulders stacked and just lift and stretch through that right side. Or if you really wanted to get more into the shoulder blades, you could take your top hand toward those left toes. And of course that changes the pose a little bit, but you can feel more stretch maybe in the low back. So it's really up to you. You pick which one works today. All right, we are going to inhale when you're ready to come out of this pose. And then we've got one more hip thing to do before we do the other side. This straight leg, actually I want you to bend it and take that left foot across that right knee. Yep, you got it. I know you can do it, right? So if you look ahead of you, I know you might be a little cockeyed on your mat, that's fine. You can see both of your feet out to the side, your knees are kind of stacked on each other. They don't have to be perfect. If one of your glutes is off the floor, you could straighten your bottom leg. All right, so here we are. We're gonna twist toward the left. So inhale that left arm up to the sky. Exhale, start twisting to the left, taking the left hand behind your back. That's it. Good. Hold in here and breathing. One more breath. All right, and then we're gonna untwist nice and gentle like. So you're back through center, and we're gonna add a fold if your hips can handle it. So if your hips are already screaming, you just stay right here. If you can handle a little bit more, you're just gonna drape your body over your legs, walking the hands out in front of you. That's it. It's a little bit squishy. So where can you focus your breath here? There's a lot of places, right? You pick the spot. I'm inclined to say my back or my hips, but you pick yours. All right, guys, if you have folded, we're just gonna walk the hands forward. If you can come to like a kneeling and unwind those legs so you're back into your table. Or however you can get back to table. Tuck the toes and find downward facing dog. I like to shake out my legs a little bit after those poses. All right, here we go. Left side, right? Left leg up in the air behind you. And then bend the knees that comes underneath and open the hip, dropping the left knee toward the left wrist. Yes, perfect. And then if you can, inch your right knee back a little bit. Remember, if you need a little support, take a pillow or blanket under that left seat. But you don't have to, up to you. All right, so when we get here, we just kind of hang out for a second. How does this feel? Am I okay? If it feels fine, then you can walk forward. But if it doesn't, you just stay here and breathe. If you're okay, come onto your elbows. And always sit in it for a breath or two. Make sure this feels okay. If you need to go further, extending the arms out, forehead to the floor. Your body's gonna tell you though. Please listen to it, not your ego. Notice where your brain is going again. Take it back to this pose. Feel the breath in and out of the nose, in and out of the lungs. My friends, this is a great one to stay in for a long time. We'll just take one more breath though, because we've got a restorative pose to squeeze in later. And once you're done with that breath, if you're all the way extended, come to your elbows. Nice and gentle, no rush. And then once you get to your elbows, you'll come to your palms. Yep, got it. Left hip drops to the floor. Right leg just swings out, not quite in front, but to the side. Yep, so revolve Janu, the right hand rests on the right leg, left arm up, and just side leaning over to that right leg. Notice if your left hip wants to pop off the floor, try and ground it. And again, whichever version of this revolved pose you want, up high with the arm or just kind of reaching for the ankles or toes or leg. All right, everybody, inhale yourself out of this pose. Come on up. Perfect. Straight leg knee bends, and that foot comes to the outside of the left leg. All right. I don't know where you are in your pose here. Okay, so here we go. We're kind of evening out. Knees are kind of stacked. Right arm comes up to the sky when you're ready, and then twisting to the right with the right hand behind your back. I think so. Yeah, you twist toward the bent knee. I mean, the knee that's on top. Both knees are bent, right? So whatever knee's on the top, you're twisting that direction. Counter twists are good too, though. If that feels better, do it. All right, we'll swing around out of the twist, belly toward the center. And then we're gonna add our fold here. So again, we're just kind of hugging the legs and folding over a little bit to see how the hips feel. Your legs are gonna tell you how far to go. So you're kind of folding like right in the center, straight ahead. The legs are out to the sides next to you. All right, hips slowly, slowly walking your hands in. Beautiful. We're just gonna unwind the legs and take them out in front of you. Wherever you are on your mat, if you could find a spot where your legs are outstretched. Shake out the knees a little bit. I'm just gonna work into our forward fold. So check your postures nice and tall. Inhale your arms up to the ceiling. And exhale, just start folding at your hips. Flex your feet. If your legs are super tight, bend your knees or sit on a block. But you don't have to touch your feet. It's not about that. It's about the stretch in the whole back body. Try to relax your head if you can. That's it. Doesn't matter how far you go, as long as you feel it and you're being truthful for what you need right now. Do you need a little extra, or do you need a little less? All right, everyone, roll your spine back up tall. See how you're feeling. And then we're gonna try that supported bound ankle pose that I messaged you guys of what you might need for that. If you don't have your goodies available, really the only thing I wanted you to try is the blanket piece, which we need to kind of fold in like a long snake. So if you have your blanket, I want you to, fold it. Maybe it's like just in half first. Doesn't matter what kind of blanket, right? Or a big towel. And then you're just gonna roll it. Roll it till you get a big snake. So take your time to do that. And then you can put it off to the side once it's done. And then if you have some pillows, or I luckily have some blocks and a yoga bolster. So I'm going to show you how to set that up in case you have that at home. And if you don't, not a big deal. I'm going to take my blocks, one at a higher level, one at a smaller level. And then I'm just going to lay my pillow over top. But you could just throw a couple pillows here, whatever you need. You could just do one block if you want to be low to the ground. So take a minute, set up your incline. This is not necessary, but it's nice, right? So it's up to you. You can do the same pose with just the blanket on the feet as I'm going to show you in just a moment. So get set up, and when you're ready, you're going to sit your butt right in front of that support of your pillows or whatever's behind you. Checking on you. Yep, take your time. No rush. Once you get there, so it's hips class, right? So we're going to work a bound angle. So with the knees, the feet together, and the knees are going to splay out to the side. So the feet are open kind of like a book, right? And to your degree, if it's super tight, you want to push your feet out further away from you, but if you're okay, they could be pretty close in. Okay, and then you're going to take your snake blanket, and you're going to put it right in the center over the tops of your feet, right? And then we're going to tuck in the edges. So this snake blanket's going to come around your calf and underneath on each side. So I'm going to just kind of pull it tight in. So what this has done is this has supported the legs too. With this blanket here, it feels like they don't drop out to the sides. If you rather have it untucked and underneath the thigh, that's fine too. Just having that support somewhere for your legs. All right, should feel good, hopefully. And then once you've got your feet set up, then you just lay back on your supports. Okay, so a couple of things here as well as you're laying back. There's nothing wrong with having the elbows float because this is opening the heart. But if you want more support, you would take pillows or blocks also underneath your forearms. So that is up to you. I'm just going to sit up to check on you, make sure everybody's okay. Everybody looks pretty good. We're going to be here for a couple minutes. So get comfortable. If you're not comfortable, let me know. Wave at the camera and I'll come up and I'll help you. But everyone looks pretty good. Okay. So you're reclining back. And this is the pose, right? So I'm not going to talk too much so they can actually really rest. Just know that this is really good for digestion, belly upset, obviously hip opening and inner thigh and groin stretch. They say it's good for depression and menstruation, menopause, all that good stuff. So just leaning into your supports and relaxing. It's okay if you think thoughts, but just come back to your breathing. Remember, if your mind gets distracted, come back to your breath. Just notice what is going on with you in this pose. What kind of feelings and emotions come up? Let's say another minute or so. Keep breathing here. If you have discomfort, of course, please move. But if you're okay, stay a little longer. right, guys, so we have some options here. We're going to move you into relaxation pose and walk you through a little visualization. However, if you like this pose and you could stay here for another 6-7 minutes, then you can stay here for relaxation pose. There are variations of this pose where you stay on your support, but you take your legs straight, or you stay on your support and you knock your knees together as the feet are wide. So kind of finding the spot that's for you. And if you don't like the support and you don't like to be lifted, you'll gently use your arm strength to push up and unwind it and set your supports off to the side to come into regular Shavasana. So I'm going to let you choose what you feel is best for you. So taking your time to just stay here or move a little bit. So if you did tend to move and you're new to your yoga practice, you would just lay flat on your mat, palms face up. You'd have a little neck roll behind your neck if you want, and just allow your feet to flop open, palms open. If there's any movement you want to squeeze in, though, of course, you're welcome to do that before we go into our visualization. So get cozy and comfy wherever you're at. And I know some of you have chosen to stay in supported bound angle, which is great. But again, if it gets a little funky or uncomfortable, you're welcome to transition out. All right, so once everyone is relaxed, you seem to be, eyes are closed. We're going to do the pink bubble meditation today. So we're going to use your powers of imagination and visualization. So as your breath is natural, you don't have to change it, you don't have to deepen it. I want you to see in your mind's eye, outside your house, a large pink bubble. Like, you know, the bubbles like you blow in with the wands, like just a big pink bubble. But this bubble happens to be ginormous, about the size of, you know, so big that you could get inside it. So with magic, it comes and floats down into your house, and it's sitting right next to you as you're laying here on the floor. This bubble wants you to get inside. At first, you might be a little hesitant, but you figure, why not? So you go ahead and you climb up off your yoga props and you get into the bubble. And the minute you get into this bubble, you are filled with bliss, with peace and calmness. It's definitely a safe space. It is the perfect temperature. You feel healthy. If there's anything wrong, it's now healed. Everything is perfect inside this bubble. And now the bubble starts to float up with you inside of it. You're starting to float up toward the ceiling and magically through the roof of the house out into the sky. It's a beautiful day out and you start to float over the clouds in your bubble. Or maybe there's no clouds. It's your visualization. It dawns on you that your bubble is taking you to one of your favorite places. This can be a real place or an imaginary place. That's up to you. So you're soaring over the sky, and way off in the distance, you can see your place. So it's starting to get bigger and bigger as you draw nearer and nearer. And now you start to descend down toward your favorite place. You get all the way down to the bottom and you climb out of your bubble. And you're going to spend some time here, whether you're alone or with loved ones. And just take a few minutes to yourself, enjoying your favorite place. So as you're at your favorite place, you notice your bubble kind of calling you to get back in. You might be hesitant right now to get back in, but then you realize you can come back here anytime you want. So you climb back inside your pink bubble and you start to float up and up. And one of your favorite places is getting a little farther away and smaller. But remember, you can come back anytime you wish. So you're not upset. You're actually happy that you've discovered this special tool. And then floating over the sky, you're getting closer and closer to your house. Your bubble starts to make its way through the house roof and down to your yoga mat. And you gently climb out of your bubble and lay back down on your yoga mat. And you watch your bubble start to float away back to where it came from. And you remember that you can call on this bubble anytime you need. You want to take a break and go escape somewhere. And then as you guys are finishing up relaxation, I'm just going to read a passage from Journey to the Heart. It's a quick one. If you have to go, I understand. I know it's 11:01 now. But if not, stay for a couple minutes. So it's called Be Honest with Yourself, this reading. What are you feeling deep down inside? Under the anger, under the rage, under the numb, I don't care, it doesn't matter. Are you really feeling scared, hurt, abandoned? Go more deeply into yourself and your emotions than you've ever gone before. Be more honest with yourself than you ever have been before. The way to joy, the way to the heart is tender, soft, gentle, and honest. The way to the heart is to be vulnerable. You don't have to be so brave. You don't have to be so strong. You don't always have to walk away with your head held high saying, I can handle this. I've been through this worse before. Become angry if you must. Feel your rage if it's there. Go numb once in a while if you must. Then take a chance and go a little deeper. Go way down deep inside and see what's there. Take a look. Risk being vulnerable. Love yourself and all your emotions. Be as honest with yourself as you can be. Say how you really feel. If you need more time for relaxation, you are welcome to take it. When you are ready, though, you'll start to make those tiny little movements, gently, gently working your way out of Shavasana. For those of you who have just joined today, I'll probably close out without having you get up, unless you're ready to get up, so that you can have more time if you need it. But if you have any questions, please text me, message me, email me, or we can Zoom chat later as well. So thank you for joining me. Breathe. Namaste.